Welcome, Fright Night Vault listeners. You ever notice how some places feel like they're holding their breath? Ski resorts especially, too quiet at night, too many empty hallways, too many stories that don't make the brochures. Subscribe to the Vault and never walk alone again. Tonight's audio horror, terrifying spirit encounter, The Man Who Never Left the Room, starts now. The family didn't think anything was wrong at first. People don't, you know. They checked into the resort on a Friday afternoon, the kind where everything looks staged for a postcard, snow piled neatly on the roofs. The mountains bright and clean. You could hear skis scraping the runs from the parking lot. They had a 7-year-old boy excited to see snow for the first time, and honestly, everything seemed normal. They got their room keys, took the elevator, and walked into the place that would stay with them forever. The front desk clerk hesitated when he handed them the key cards. The father remembered that later. Just a flicker in the man's expression, like he wanted to say something but didn't know how people hold back more than they should. The room was warm, smelled like pine cleaner and old carpet, and had this little balcony that looked over the slopes, the kind of view you'd pay extra for. The father joked that they lucked out, but the mother said she felt the floor was colder than it should be, not freezing, just wrong, like the heat didn't settle evenly. You ever walk into a room and feel like the temperature tells a different story than the furniture? That was their first hint. The boy was fine, though. He ran around, claiming the bed by the window. The parents unpacked, relaxed, and even went down to the resort lobby for hot chocolate. They didn't know that room had a history. Most people didn't. The man who died there years before wasn't a rumor. He wasn't the type of ghost story guests shared over drinks. He was real. A long-term resident who stayed during the off-season. Someone the staff didn't talk about because too many guests asked for refunds afterward. They found him sitting upright in the armchair by the balcony door. That same door the family had been admiring earlier. He'd been there for days, that room soaked in his presence the way old wood soaks in smoke. The first real sign came after they returned for the night. Around 9 p.m., the parents put their son to bed and sat watching TV quietly. They were tired from the drive. You know how the first night of a vacation feels. Everything slows down, settles in. The father said he heard something soft, like carpet shifting under a footstep. He figured the people in the next room were moving around, maybe dragging a suitcase. The problem is, the room next door was empty. Housekeeping confirmed that later. Around 10:30, the mother noticed the closet door. She swore she closed it earlier, not all the way, but enough that it shouldn't have been wide open like that. She got up, pushed it shut, and went back to the bed. A few minutes later, their son whispered that someone was standing by the balcony door. Kids say things. Parents try not to react, but the father looked and saw just the curtains, barely moving from the heater. He told the boy everything was fine, turned off the lamp, and tried to sleep. Midnight is when the room changed. The mother said the air felt heavier, almost humid, which made no sense in winter. The father felt the mattress sink near his legs, like someone sat down. You know that feeling, that slow dip. He shot upright but didn't see anyone there. He didn't say anything because he didn't want to scare the boy, but the boy was already awake, eyes open, staring at the bathroom door. He asked his dad why the man kept going in there. The father tried to stay calm, tried to tell him it was just shadows, but he felt something too. A draft, a pressure, like someone had squeezed past him in the dark. The mother turned on the bedside light. The bathroom door was half open. The light was on. Neither of them remembered touching it. At 1:22 a.m., the father heard a voice. Not a whisper, not a word, but a low murmur inside the wall behind the headboard, like someone talking through a vent. He leaned closer, thinking maybe it was plumbing. But the voice grew clearer, slower, like someone telling a story in a language he didn't know. The boy started crying. Not loud, just that scared, shaking kind of cry kids do when they're trying to be brave. The mother began packing their things, whispering that they should go downstairs and get another room. But right then, the hallway outside went silent, completely silent. Ski resorts always have some noise, doors, boots, late-night guests, but everything dropped out. The father checked the peephole. The hallway light was flickering. He didn't see anyone, but he felt watched. He said it was like someone stood right on the other side of the door, breathing slow. The boy suddenly sat up and pointed to the corner near the balcony door. He said, "He's mad we're in his room." The father grabbed him and told him not to talk like that, but the boy wasn't looking at his dad. He was looking around him, through him, like someone else stood between them. The mother said she saw the curtain by the balcony lift and fall, like someone brushed past it on their way back inside. No draft, no heater, just movement. Then the closet door creaked open again, this time only a few inches, like someone pulling it with 2 fingers, slow and patient. The boy covered his ears. He said the man was talking again, but this time he understood the words. He said the man wanted him to come closer, just to look at something in the dark. That's when the father felt the cold breath on the side of his face. Warm rooms still hold pockets of air, but this wasn't that. This was deliberate, slow, almost testing him. He grabbed his wife and child and told them they were leaving now. But when he reached for the door handle, the metal felt hot, not warm, hot, like someone held a lighter to it. He jerked his hand away. The mother pulled the boy close and whispered that they should try the balcony, maybe climb down to the snowbank below. But when they stepped toward the glass doors, the father saw something. A shape reflected behind them in the black window, a man's outline sitting in the armchair by the balcony, the same chair the long-term guest had died in years before. The father blinked, and the reflection didn't change, didn't fade. Just sat there watching them. When he finally turned around, the chair was empty. But he said the reflection stayed in the glass for another full second, like it lagged behind, like it wasn't ready to let go. Around 2:40 a.m., things escalated. The TV turned on by itself, blasting static. The bathroom light flicked off, then on, then off again. The closet door started to move, inch by inch, sliding open and then shutting halfway, like someone inside was pacing. The boy screamed that the man was getting out. Not walking, getting out. Like he'd been sitting, waiting, and now he was standing up. The father threw their suitcases near the door, ready to use them as shields if he had to. The mother held the boy so tightly he couldn't move. They all heard the footsteps cross the carpet, slow, heavy, coming from the bathroom toward the beds. The father said he couldn't look. He didn't want to see it. But he felt the bed shift again, near his legs. Then near his wife's. Then near the boy's. Like something was circling them. That's when the father made his choice. He wrapped his hand in a towel, grabbed the hot door handle anyway, and yanked the door open. The hallway lights flickered so violently the bulbs buzzed, but the hallway was empty, completely empty. They ran, not walked, ran. Down the hall, down the stairs, past the lobby. The clerk saw them and didn't even ask questions. He just handed them a new room key. Different floor, different wing. Far from that room, they didn't sleep the rest of the night. You wouldn't either. In the morning, housekeeping checked the room. The armchair by the balcony was turned slightly toward the beds, as if someone had been watching them. The bathroom light was on. The closet door was open. And the pillows on the boy's bed had indentations on one side, like someone had been lying next to him. The resort quietly stopped using that room. But the spirit didn't leave with the guests. It stayed in the walls, in the carpet, in the chair, waiting for the next family that didn't know the room wasn't empty. Well, Fright Night Vault listeners, that's what happened in that room. You don't always see who checks out last. And sometimes, they don't. If you ever stay at a ski resort and the front desk hesitates before handing you your key, maybe ask for a different room. This is the end of this story. If you have a horror story of your own, feel free to drop it in the comments section. You never know. The next story could be yours. Subscribe to the Vault and never walk alone again.